that insider information that I just simply don't have. No matter how many times I'm here on the desk, and no matter how much I watch these things, there's always gonna be something I forget here, and something I just could never bring up in the heat of the moment. But yes, no, as you said, this definitely is going to be a very heated and a very, very entertaining set nonetheless. First off, we're going to be kicking things off. Tower Control on Undertale Spillway.
Yes, Tower Control Undertow Spillway going to be kicking us off here in this best of 9 set between these two squads. So it's definitely gonna be one of those type of map modes that's gonna really set the tone for the rest of the set. I do feel like that when you kind of get out there into Tower Control Undertow, it is the type of map where you can get a pretty quick knockout and really have that emphatic victory, and just be able to, again, really take it to your opponent and start to get them reeling a little bit early. It could also be a little bit back and forth, but I always feel like that Tower Control Undertow just leaves a lasting impression, no matter where it is in the set, and to kick off with it, I think is going to be something to keep an eye out for on how that kind of affects the rest of this set, because either way, you always get big victories on this map mode.
Yeah, most definitely. This definitely is a very good tempo opener for either team. And an interesting thing I saw right out the gate is a double slosher coming out over the side of Goomies, which I don't think I've seen much of, if anything at all, brought out here in the CCA. And man, that's a very interesting combo. I'm interested to see exactly in unison as they swing over on the left hand side to try and get those early picks. One does eventually go down, both sloshers down already, but it's still a bit of a stalemate here in mid. As 3 down from Goomies, that's going to be not a good opening from their side.
Yeah, it is going to be BSU Grizztaco that does get first possession of the tower. They will clear that first checkpoint after dancing around just a little bit. Null Metal coming up with a nice shot there on the bow, trying to find a little bit more support here as well. And that's going to be 3 down on the side of Goomies. Make that a delayed wipe. And I mean, Dark, this is exactly what we were talking about. You're going to get some big pushes. This is an opportunity to make a very big statement early on in these semifinals. And we are less than a minute in and already at the final checkpoint for Grizztaco.
Yeah, things are looking very slim here for Goomies. They have to make sure they can recover properly here before and stop the bleeding as best as they can, and a wipeout will do that. 23 points remaining off that first push from Grizztaco is incredible for them in the first minute of this game, and now Goomies has a bit of a mountain to climb, trying to climb through. I at least match that, going through 2 whole checkpoints, maybe potentially contesting that 3rd checkpoint, maybe take lead here, but first they gotta actually get through and push this tower forward at least a little bit here. That first pick over from Goomies means that Grizztaco is gonna play back just a little bit, see exactly what's going to be happening next, but a crucial pick here, the brush failing to try and take a pick here, because that Grizztaco was be able to hold on mid for a good solid moment.
Yeah, I did think that on that push, Grizztaco started to just get a little bit ahead of themselves. They were really feeling it and just decided, hey, we have the opportunity, let's just run into their base. They did get wiped. Goomies with a solid response. They did clear that first checkpoint and approached the 2nd checkpoint. There's still 3 minutes to play, so I actually don't mind the Goomies' position in this. Despite the rough opening, it's really actually just within reach, as long as they can kind of keep Grizztaco in control here a little bit, which they're continuing to trade, find 2v2 situations. The numbers just kind of, keeping themselves 1 apart at all times. So Goomies not in a bad spot, but Grizztaco maintains the upper hand as they have through the first half.
Most definitely. Now they're already trying to contest their lead to extend it even further. 41-point differential could be extended here as they use the Booyah Bomb to try and create some space for that tower to push up forward, cause a distraction on the Goomies, but they're not gonna let that happen quite easily as they hold strong and manage to take 2 players out, and already looking to try and flesh out the remaining members from their team. Grizztaco forced back to force the backup just a little bit means that this tower is gonna reset to mid at the very least. Maybe but one jump in here as this splatter shot tries to go in and take control of the tower at the very least, keep it from moving back forward to mid, but no, that attempt is failed as they're still alive, still kicking here on this side, getting a pick, going down finally by this brush, and the damage is already done. Too much distraction. Goomies 2 down as Grizztaco has a stronghold on mid once again.
Yes, it seems like that. What we're kind of just seeing the same thing over and over here, where Grizztaco approaches that 3rd checkpoint, they get shut out from really chipping away at that third checkpoint at all. Goomies able to make a move, get back into mid, push the tower just a little bit, but no follow-up there, as Grizztaco has been really excellent at, once they do get wiped from that third checkpoint, they come back in pretty quickly and they're able to kind of reclaim some of that map control. So they continue to hold this driver's seat as we approach the last minute of this game. Goomies are going to have to kind of pull something a little bit different out of their hat here, and it might start with Rare coming up with a double. So that could be the spark that Goomies has needed to get something going here. And this, could be an opportunity. 2 specials online. Grizztaco only going to have the Glugas coming up with their Booyah Bomb. Nothing else going to be within reach yet. The Trip Strike's coming out though. Oh no, the Slosher goes down on the side of Goomies. The other Slosher going down as well. But Jay's going to come back in with the Trip Strikes ready to roll. But their teammates are going to go down left and right. Going to be able to find Rainy there. And now going to pop out these Trip Strikes a little bit early just to try to keep some sort of map control. Jay's going to find a second pick, but Null Metal comes up with the direct.
And these things were starting to be very dicey here on both sides. They generally can still swing either way. Specials being used from both sides here to try and maintain control of tactical lure online for Grizztaco means that they can go on a little bit more offensive here. But with Goomies having their own tactical lure, it's still going to be at an even trade here no matter what. And as time is starting to tick down, these next picks are going to be very crucial. These positioning is going to be very vital to try and make sure that Goomies can stay alive with 3 players down. Grizztaco on the map, still holding control. And we go into overtime as they're barely able to get onto that tower. But the Booyah Bomb wipeout and triple H means that Grizztaco, that was a quadra at the very end there. What an ending!
What? That was the Booyah, the GG Booyah quad at the end. Oh, you can't ask for much better than that at the end. That's a perfectly placed Booyah Bomb. You got all the players to have to, play a weird middle position where they had to kind of commit to the tower. But, hey, that's why you bring out those specials like the Booyah Bomb and the Trip Strikes, just to secure the game when you're in position to do so. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Man, that really was, that generally kind of turned out to be something great for Goomies as they get ready to push that overtime scenario there. But the Booyah Bomb showed that no matter what the stressful situation might be, as long as you just play your specials and just know exactly how to to back up just a little bit, give them an extra breathing room so you can actually properly counteract whatever's coming up to you next in those 10 scenarios. That's just textbook right there.
It certainly is. That was a perfectly executed ending by Grizztaco. They did everything that they needed to really secure this one. And now they have the upper hand. So it was, again, a relatively dominant performance as we were sort of anticipating, Dark, where, 2 teams going to be going at it early on Tower Undertow. And I think that the team that won this, being Grizztaco, is going to really have a lot of early momentum. I just feel like that Tower Undertow is just, such a momentum builder or momentum destroyer. So I'm definitely liking the look of Grizztaco early.
Yeah, things definitely can start kicking off here for this first match, As many, what I like to say anyways is the first game is crucial no matter what this situation might be. It's crucial to get that information early, see exactly what kind of game you're going to be playing, what game your opponent's going to be playing, and see exactly just what the game plan is going on to this set moving forward. Grizztaco, they did an extraordinarily well job playing against Goomies and being able to figure out exactly what makes them tick and counteract that in mid-game there. So now it's going to be up to Goomies here to take what they saw already and see exactly what changes they need to be making here, especially heading into this second game. I'm eager to see exactly if they're going to be switching any weapons here, especially from that double bucket comp, something I don't think I mentioned beforehand, but I don't think I've ever seen anything like that played out whatsoever.
Yeah, I definitely was a little bit surprised by the double slosher comp. That is, a slosher is typical. 2 is a little bit less so. It was definitely a creative decision that was made by the Goomies, and I don't hate it. I'm always for, kind of taking things to the workshop, and, kind of pulling out the unexpected. I think that just creates for a more dynamic and exciting gameplay, especially because the other team's probably like, what the heck did they just pull out? This isn't anywhere in our notes, frantically kind of skimming through the notebook. I think that was actually a really, really, fun and exciting and, a good choice, actually. It just didn't quite pan out. Grizztaco, I think, outpaced Goomies for pretty much all 5 minutes there. I think it was less of a matter of composition and more of just a macro level of play.
Yeah. I definitely saw the division there as well with those 2 buckets there. You have 2 buckets who both have ink strikes there. So in an overtime scenario, or when things get really stressful, you have 6 ink strikes throughout the entire map. So coordinating your specials is crucial for that comp like that. But I'm eager to see exactly if it could potentially return here, especially considering we're going to Manta Maria Rainmaker. A very smaller map than maybe relatively, anyways, maybe more similar size, but some similar size or smaller map than Undertow. And I kind of like seeing double bucket here again. I'm going to be completely honest.
I, again, would not hate it. I don't think this is quite the place to pull out double slosher itself, but I do think if they kind of pivot one of those sloshers to like a tri-slosher, that would actually be a really, intelligent decision there. Grizztaco, we did see the tri-slosher come out in that last game. I do fully anticipate that returning here, as that tri-slosher is just so effective, being able to camp some of those ledges right around street, which is the most crucial section of this map in any mode, let alone Rainmaker.
Yeah, definitely. And we do see the double buckets come back once again, and we don't see any major changes from Grizztaco, if any, if my memory serves correctly here. So the Dapple duel is being switched out for just another pair of duelies here, the Imperator's duelies, I believe, here. But I'm eager to see exactly why that decision is being made here, as Grizztaco already gets that first pop almost immediately, but already both these two teams are playing a more neutral, more solid game here. With the Brush going in deep to try and get that early pick here, but gets traded out here. And now Goomies down 2 players, means Grizztaco has the early advantage. The splashdown being used early, but canceled out. A crucial special already gone out already, and a camp jump here means that Grizztaco can definitely take this Rainmaker and push it to a early dunk.
Yeah, No Metal trying to, I think, provide a little bit of misdirection there, hoping that the Goomies commit to that left side before swinging it right, but I think that just slowed down the push. Grizztaco now going to try to follow up, but that's a really tricky position to try to keep that Rainmaker. They're going to have to send Rainy around towards the left-hand side to see if they can get some picks and pull Goomies away from the Rainmaker, because they're not going to pick it up in this position, but they will if they can get the 3 down like that and clear the checkpoint. So it is all Grizztaco in the first minute of this Rainmaker match. They're going to pick up this Rainmaker and see how far they can push it. Only going to be taken down to 48, but once again, it is Grizztaco that retains the driver's seat position of this game. Hudsies trying to get ready to pick up this Rainmaker, going to be able to buy some time for their teammate who's going to end up picking this one up. It's Null Metal that's going to be bringing up the rear here. Rainmaker advancing 33 points remaining. Add 8 more. Dropping it down to the bottom here, trying to put as many points on the board as possible. This push dies at 19 points remaining, and now Goomies needs to flush everybody out of street.
And they're trying so desperately to do so, using those tri-strikes to try and create that space. But 3 down from Goomies. Grizztaco going to have the jumpings to come in and potentially repop that Rainmaker and maybe get a few more points off of top of that. But no, that Wellspring does go down here as Goomies hold strong, plays it a little bit more slow, more steady. Grizztaco trying to buy their time, but another player goes picked out. Another player down once again. 3 down there from this push here means that Goomies can now pick up the Rainmaker with confidence and start trying to recover some of the damage that has been done already.
Yeet somehow staying alive, applying a little bit of pressure from behind, and I don't know who actually got that pick there. That probably was the Wellstring, but Yeet's going to be able to swing back around with that splashdown, and not going to be able to find anybody, but it does force the Goomies to scatter like roaches being caught in the light. And now it's Yeet that's going to be going on a little bit of a reign of terror here. Going to be able to provide Null Metal the opportunity to pick up this Rainmaker, and now going to be handing over to that left-hand side. Null Metal going to be diving this Rainmaker once again, trying to add points to the board. Stopped right in the exact same place, 19 points remaining. No well string for the pop, but Rainy's going to pick this one up and dive it home. 1 point remaining. This push stops yet again, but with 2 minutes to go, Goomies has yet to find a point on the board. And Dark, this is just an uphill battle as Yeet is coming from behind again.
Yeah, this is such a tough situation here for Goomies. They're trying their best to try and keep everything under control here, but Grizztaco is just approaching from every angle, attacking from every possible opportunity that they can. We see Yeet just trying to go in on the backline to get those, just scatter them as best they can. Goomies are forced to try and respect some of the space and some of the pressure that's being applied to them, and it's backing them up further and further to a do not retreat scenario here, but they're forced to push up once again to try at least get some points on board, make a breakaway here on the red checkpoint to potentially get a under the nose checkpoint dunk. But with a wipeout here, Grizztaco is gonna pick up that Rainmaker and just run it back to where they just were earlier in this game.
I don't think Grizztaco is really interested in the knockout at this point. They know that they could stall it right here for almost the entire rest of the game clock. So they're just going to inch closer and closer, not needing to make any sort of drastic moves. The clock is their friend. 42 seconds to go. 32 on the Rainmaker timer, a difference of 8. And it's going to be Goomies, Jay, that's able to take down the Rainmaker there. So the Goomies will find themselves with one more possession possibly if they can just get rid of Hudsies and Street. But no, Hudsies is going to take down Rare. And now Hudsies is looking for the knockout blow. They're going to have one opportunity to dive it here and not going to find it again. 1 point remaining. One more opportunity. Null Metal's going to give this one a go. Not going to be able to find it. It's just the dualies. Yeet's going to go ahead and back up and say, okay, you know what? They're going to get overtime. That's totally fine. Just stay in position. Try to build up this splashdown and see if we can surprise them. And there's the surprise. Grizztaco goes up 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, Goomies were just not able to breathe at all throughout the entire game. Grizztaco knew exactly when to strike, when to scatter them, and when to just abuse any sort of just mixed feelings and just chaotic nonsense that was happening in the middle of a lot of those fights there. Goomies struggling to keep up with the tempo that Grizztaco was pacing, that they just couldn't fight back, and it just kind of collapsed them on them here at the end. And seeing that 1 point remaining is a bit of a just mountain to try and think of coming up here. And at a scenario like this, knowing you had 3 down, you gotta be so mindful of the dualies player who's known to flank as we head into overtime. And in an opportunity like that, I think it might have just been a little bit of a slip of mind, just trying to think of what your game plan is heading into overtime.
Yeah, and I think at this stage, the Goomies are playing a little bit flustered. I think that whatever it's going to take for them to reset mentally as a team, they need to pull that out right now. Mm-hmm. You know, whether it's a comp change to some more comfort picks or, you know, just anything that's kind of just a good mental energy reset. That's what the Goomies need to do at this moment. You know, you're down 0-2 early. It's still early in the set. It's the night is still young. But it was 2 relatively strong performances out of BSU Grizztaco. So they need to just, you know, come into this Umami Zones game with a fresh mind, you know, and just reevaluate the situation. So Grizztaco's been playing fantastically. What can we do to start to counter that? What can we do to start playing like ourselves again? Because I've seen the Goomies play, and you know, I think that they're letting the fight be taken to them right now, and that's not the way that Goomies Splatoon is typically played.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. The Goomies I remember are just being, or a team that were just aggro, always holding forward, trying to take whatever fights they can and winning them and move on to the next one, not letting their enemies take any breathing room whatsoever here. And now heading to Umami Ruin Splash Zones, this could be the opportunity here. I've said this before, and I'll say this again and again. I love the dual zone modes from any zones maps here. So seeing this map here, it find it very interesting and find it very fun to watch and to commentate over because there's just that whole dichotomy of just trying to manage both zones at the same time, and that could be the key here for Goomies to just split Grizztaco's attention and take those fights instead of taking them all as this whole unit here as we head into game number 3.
All right, the Goomies feeling good with their comps. Grizztaco also feeling good with their comps. We're not going to see, really any adjustments here from either squad. Everybody feeling pretty good at this stage. So Gumi's going to continue to see if they can kind of change the tides of this one with the compositions they know and love. Grizztaco, though, going to be once again dominant early on as Goomies did get the quick 1-pointer, but it's all Grizztaco as they have control of both zones and 2 specials online.
Yeah, this is a bit of a hard thing to try and push through here, Goomies, with all those specials and with such a good area control here from Grizztaco. 2 down from that 1 Inkzuka, a good special usage. They're making that 3. Grizztaco's holding strong here on mid, but no, they do lose control of 1 zone at the very least, which caused a little bit of a chaotic moment here in mid, but it does not matter. It's 3 down for Goomies once again. 45 points remaining from Grizztaco, and with a wipeout, this is not looking good for Goomies. They have to do something here now, and on a rampage, Grizztaco's not letting Goomies go, not letting them get any sort of momentum building whatsoever, and trying to lock them out here and now as we head to the final 20 points of this game.
Yeah, this is starting to become a really dicey situation for the Goomies as they go 2 down yet again. They do find a pick there, trying to neutralize 1 zone, but it will not be enough. Grizztaco takes a commanding 3-0 lead to open up this set.
I mean, there really isn't much to say here from that game. Grizztaco just kept Goomies out of the game for majority of that game there, taking whatever picks they could and kept pushing them back each and every single fight that there was, until the point where they were just literally sitting like practically right under their spawner and keeping them pushed out, especially with that double we saw with the splashdown right out of spawn. It was Goomies literally had no time, no room, no chance to try and regroup themselves.
Yeah, no, it was really comfortable for Grizztaco. They were able to get a couple of those early picks. They didn't overextend themselves either on the offensive end. They did a great job of, kind of holding down the front lines without, extending one of their members a little too far like they did in game number 1 that allowed Goomies to keep that game somewhat competitive. So I think Grizztaco, the couple of really small flaws that we've seen from them early in this set, they've made a lot of good adjustments here to the point where we're seeing near perfect Splatoon being played.
Yeah, I mean, Grizztaco's way to just keep learning from Goomies and what they're doing and just keep those strategies in place and being able to keep on counteracting them. It's just showing that with each passing game, they're only getting stronger and stronger. And I think at this point, Goomies has to change something up here. Even though they might be more comfortable with that double slosher comp, clearly at this point with Grizztaco, they figured it out completely at this point. You can't be running against them at this point in the game. Honestly, you need to throw a curveball at them to really pull out something that takes them off their feet, that they kind of have to spend a little more time to even think about what's going on and use that to your advantage here, especially on Museum with too many words going on right now. Clampless Museum.
Clampless on that.
Yeah.
All good. But Grizztaco, the second most dominant team to start off Division 4 in the group stage. They've only dropped 2 games in the group stage. And Grizztaco was the only team to drop a game in the quarterfinals. All teams going 5-0. Grizztaco, the only one going 5-1. So we knew that this was, going to be a couple of really strong teams kind of duking it out. Grizztaco, looking like, on paper, maybe the slightly favored team coming into this one. I know Goomies, though, being the fan favorite pick to win this one. So it's going to be one to continue to watch out for, see if Goomies can turn this set around. And they're going to have the opportunity here with Clamblitz with a 3 down early on. This is going to be the type of map mode where things are just going to be moving a little bit slower. So I actually do like this one for the Goomies early on paper. So let's see if they can capitalize on this early 3 down situation, see if they can get the first score of the game.
Yeah, already pushing up to that clam basket. They're keeping Grizztaco pushed back as far as they can, keeping them out of focus, out of scattered, as they keep getting these picks after picks after picks. A good momentum going on here as they get another pick here. Make that 3 here from this bucket on the right-hand side. Potentially a 4th there, only the armor saving them. But in all that time, I have to wonder what was going on with the rest of their team. Goomies, they didn't score a single power clam there, and now they're forced to retreat back up once again here to mid as they lose additional players here, but maybe it may not be the entirely end of the world here as they get those 2 extra picks from Grizztaco, meaning they're going to try and look up to go forward once again and potentially get this power clam deposited into the clam basket by any means necessary.
You know what happened on the initial push? They had the power clam, but they actually threw it a little bit short. And it got completely consumed by the Grizztaco blue paint. And they weren't able to retrieve it. They had to go back and build up another clam, got staggered a little bit, and the Goomies, they had 2 great looks there in the opening 90 seconds and just weren't able to convert on it. So now Grizztaco able to swing the numbers back in their favor. Rare holding down the basket, trying to prevent any sort of Grizztaco advancement, but not able to do so quite yet as Grizztaco actually, hovering a little bit, but I take that back. It looks like we're going to get a little bit of a stop here. Bubble finding a power clam themselves, but getting caught in no man's land and now forced to be sent back to spawn. So we are back to a bit of a neutral game, but Grizztaco holds the slight advantage as they have 22 clams to work with and the numbers. Yeet holding 1 power clam. It's going to be 2 power clams coming in from the back side here, and they're going to be able to dunk the first one in. Second power clam coming in, a couple more clams, spare change diving into the basket. 42 points remaining. Another power clam being jumped in here. They're going to be able to get the one in too. Oh!
That is a heavy blow from Grizztaco. Goomies had a good opening start on their side, and unfortunately fell apart before they could get any clams in, and Grizztaco just punched back with twice the energy and taking it all the way down to 90 points remaining. And with a knife out here, this could potentially be lethal here if they play their cards right. The power clam almost at the ready here as they get close to the power clam basket, throwing it to try and at least open it up, see if they can get some extra points here to at least chew through those penalty points at the very least. But no, Goomies held strong here and pushes Grizztaco back as this game resets back to mid, and Goomies are now on the offensive here.
Yes, the tide flipping back towards the Goomies. They have 2 power clams to work with, granted by Grizztaco. Will they be able to convert this into points? That's going to be the question that Goomies has to answer. 90 seconds remain. We saw a very strong opening 90 seconds. The Goomies hoping they could do the same in the closing 90.
Definitely with 2 picks here, this could definitely be the key here, but Grizztaco has learned from the past, and they were able to stop Goomies before they can even get close to the power clam basket here. But Grizztaco just gearing up here and just haunting it here, but 3 down from Grizztaco out of nowhere. Goomies gonna be the ones to try and finally get the first points on their side, and can they get that extra power clam dunked into the power clam basket and jump in, comes in to see if they can cancel it in the nick of time, but no, they choose with a little bit more safer jump in the back line and take the long way around, and another wipeout from Grizztaco means that Goomies has every opportunity here to extend the power clam basket timer as long as they can for the remainder of the team to come in and get those extra points.
But the clams are a little bit of a distance away. I don't think they're going to be able to hold this basket open. 2 members go down trying to do so. So 48 points remaining is where this push will stall. So Goomies are able to strike back in this one, but 30 seconds remain. Jay trying to do everything they can to hold this 1v2 and is able to win it out. That's going to be a huge opportunity, but 2 specials online for Grizztaco to try to hold down the defensive front. 15 seconds to play. The Booyah Bomb coming out, seeing if they can wipe out members of the Goomies. They find 1, they find 2. The third players bound to go down here. Yeet will not be denied on this one. And Grizztaco will go up 4-0 in this set.
That's gotta sting for the Goomies there at the very end. They were in a prime position to try and at least attempt an overtime victory here, but Yeet on the dualies were able to just hold their ground and stop Goomies from even advancing to the spinner and on their plan, and just wiped them out at the very end there, causing just a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit of upset defeat here to what could have been a very glorious reverse win here on Clams.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the best game we've seen out of the Goomies. But it still just was not quite enough. It's just that when Grizztaco is able to kind of slip that punch in, it's a devastating blow every single time. And the Goomies just haven't been able to figure out a way to just avoid that punch altogether yet. And they are rapidly running out of time. I mean, now down 4-0, it is match point for Grizztaco, but of course not all is lost. I would like to remind the Goomies that they attend Virginia Commonwealth University, home of the reverse sweep masters that we saw in the quarterfinals. VCU Big Fat Sea Cows able to pull off the reverse sweep against UCSD Esports Gold. Why can't it be the Goomies? Of course, it is a very tall order to ask of them, but hey, maybe they got a little bit of that VCU luck on their side. One can certainly hope.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, me as the man of the people wanting to entertain as long as I can for as best as I can, a reverse sweep is the key here for not just for Goomies to stay alive, but for the maximum entertainment value. You know, like you're down a very dominant losing here in your first two games. You know, your fourth game, you know, you start to find that fight, start to find your groove, your tempo back into this set, giving Grizztaco and maybe just a little bit of scare, a little bit of worry of like, oh, okay, we lost a few points there, but surely it won't be anything too much of a big deal moving into this next game. You know, this is the point where Goomies could absolutely flip the script and start taking things home, especially with Inkblot Art Academy Tower Control, a relatively neutral map, but it could still be a very big swing and a miss depending on which side you're on. And as the attacker, you want to go for that big swing into that platform.
Yes, we're going to be watching out Plat and Bats, the key areas in this one. Grizztaco has been fantastic all set long with finding their players in those key positions. So we're going to definitely anticipate Yeet on the side of Grizztaco being that kind of player to quickly establish themselves just like that. Able to find one early on. Grizztaco advantage in the opening 15 seconds. Null Metal seeing if they could find a quick little arc shot. Not able to do so, but their teammates going to clean this one up. Hudsies now going to ride this tower, trading it off to Null Metal. 30 seconds in, 3 specials online for Grizztaco. Everything in their favor. Momentum, wind behind their backs. They are going to be able to make a big statement early on in this game number 5. They are ready to set a record pace. They want to go to the finals. 50 points already scored in 45 seconds. Dark, this one is getting out of control fast.
Yeah, heading into this third and final checkpoint here, this could definitely turn that snowball into a huge avalanche here if Goomies can't recover in enough time. Grizztaco keeping their momentum going, trying to keep the aggression on their side, using whatever specials, whatever angles they can to try and keep Goomies down and about for as long as they can. Tactical or online on their side means that they can play even more aggressively now without too many repercussions here. They're still stalling it out on that third checkpoint. Goomies trying to stay alive for as long as they can. 2 players down on their side means that Goomies can try and at least retake a little bit more areas, but jumps in comes from Grizztaco means that they're going to be at the ready to try and contest Goomies from their retake here, but the Booyah Bomb to try to slow them down does get 2 players down, which is crucial for Grizztaco to try and make sure that tower control stays on their side of the map.
Oh man, Grizztaco playing like absolute menaces right now. They do get all the way to 20 remaining, but they still got about 3.5 to go in order to lock in their spot in the finals. Goomies looking like they're coming alive here a little bit, able to come up with a couple big picks Now Naomi trying to see if they can find a pick on this Booyah Bomb. Yeet gonna drop down, able to get picked off there, but it's gonna ultimately be a trade. Goomies do clear that first checkpoint. In the meantime, those trip strikes gonna be able to create a bit of a screen that they can work through, and that's another player going down on the side of Grizztaco. Jay looking to find one, but no, both Slosher players go down instead. Rare, the last one standing, is gonna get called out as well. So 53 remaining for Goomies. Again, a solid response out of the Goomies, but they haven't been able to convert. Once they get that one response in, there hasn't quite been a second response in order to match the early big pushes out of Grizztaco.
Yeah, and this could be the point where they could maybe start doing that here. They have learned a little bit from their past games, so it's going to be a very crucial thing to see if they can actually start putting those knowledge to use here. But one player down from Goomies, meaning that Grizztaco has a player advantage here as they're moving into the platform once again. Another player down, 2 players down, 3 players down here. That's a delayed wipeout practically here as Grizztaco is going to go running in forward to keep Goomies at bay for as long as they can, so that tower can just cruise to that final point. Another player down for Goomies. Grizztaco is going to look and take this to a checkmate scenario here, as specials are being used left and right. Wavebreaker used to try and create as much space as they can around the tower control. Booyah Bomb used to try and just deny area control from Goomies, but the tri-strikes from them means that Grizztaco is forced to back up a little bit as that tower gets moving back towards mid once again. But 2 players down from Goomies means making that 3 players down from Goomies means that Grizztaco has every opportunity and a wipeout to win this game here and now.
And it looks like Grizztaco is on their way to the finals. Rainy all the way up in spawn, trying to put this one out of reach. But no, the Goomy is able to push everybody off the tower. Rainy's now out of position, and they're going to get called out for it. 1 minute to go. All Rainy could do is hope to stall this game out, and I think they might have actually gotten the job done. This tower continues to march forward. It is the last stand for the Goomies, but it's Hudsies that rides the tower all the way to victory, and Grizztaco completes the semifinal sweep to book their ticket to Grands.
A huge showing from Grizztaco, being mostly dominant for a majority of the set, just puts Goomies to rest here in semifinals, knocking them out for the remainder of the last part of the season here. Probably a bit of a bitter defeat from Goomies, considering how well they've been playing so far up to this point in the season. But man, oh man, Grizztaco showed exactly why and what they have in store to going into finals here.
All I will say is that, these top 4 teams in Division 4 have clearly established themselves as the top 4 teams in this division. And it's not even close. These 4 teams have been just on an entire tier of their own, between BSU Grizztaco, Goomies, RIT Orange Kois, and I misspoke earlier. It's CSULB Black. They defeated Turnpike in the quarterfinals 5-0. So CSULB Black is the other team that's going to be in on the other end of this bracket. But notably, Cal State Long Beach Black has had a perfect season up to this point. They are 20-0. They have yet to drop a game. So they're going to be kind of a team to watch out for. They've been a little bit of one of the quieter teams this season. But if there's anything that I know out of Long Beach Black is that they are a grit and grind kind of team. They're going to always be, in just you can never underestimate them. Even when they're down, they're going to find a way. So I'm going to be excited to see how that RIT versus Long Beach Black showdown goes. See if Long Beach can keep their perfect season alive. RIT Orange Kois has been playing phenomenal all season long, but Grizztaco looks like they have established a separate tier that they know they are a part of. Can RIT or Long Beach rise to the occasion?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, heading to the finals, knowing what's on the other side of the bracket, what you might be going up against, is got to be a little bit of a scary thing to think about here. And as Grizztaco has now secured for their finals victory here, we're seeing a bit of more than just the remainder of this bracket being played out as a CCA tradition for more of the sportsmanship. None of this really counts for any type of scoring whatsoever. We're just here to see for the love of the game, for the entertainment of the community here, as we see both teams run towards this rainmaker here on Scorch Gorge.
Yes, so now that this one is all in the record books, both teams gonna be able to let loose just a little bit. Grizztaco looks like they're gonna go ahead and experiment a little bit with the change in the glue guns. They want to maintain game mentality. As Yeet's gonna come up with a triple on that one. Has been just absolutely fantastic on the dualies all set long. They're going to continue to play that way here in the friendly game number 6.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Seeing Yi on any of the dualies from tonight has been such a menace. I would be absolutely terrified to be in Goomies' position going up against them. But man, oh man, seeing them use all their tools here just to take Yi down, it kind of speaks for what they've been doing so far for the majority of the set. And now Goomies trying to force whatever advantage they can off that initial pick from Yi, means that Grizztaco was forced to back up just a little bit, play it slow and play it steady, make sure that they don't necessarily start feeding and start trickling in one by one. But it may be a little bit too late as Yi goes in on a deep dive, but unfortunately gets picked out.
Rare now just trying to advance this Rainmaker, see if they can get that first checkpoint to match Grizztaco. Not able to do so yet, having to stall out now that 2 teammates have gone down, but not going to be able to stay alive here. Teammates are going to jump in and pay the ultimate price. That is a wipeout. Grizztaco takes possession of the Rainmaker and should be adding a few more points on the board.
Yeah, with that first checkpoint out already, it means that any additional opportunities here from Grizztaco will definitely let them some additional points here, especially with 2 players down from Goomies. Grizztaco is definitely looking to just keep that Rainmaker forward, keep the pressure going on. Getting another pick tactical online means that they can go with even more speed here as they go and take down the 40 points remaining. Goomies struggling to keep up here as they take this Rainmaker even further. Grizztaco taking it down to 13 points remaining. A huge push on their end as Goomies is now 1 player down, means that they can get the pop potential to get even more points and maybe can break away for that final dunk.
Very well played there by Grizztaco, who is maintaining a win now mindset through the friendly play all 9. They want to just continue to practice because they know that their season's not done. I mean, the Goomy season isn't quite done either. They actually still have that 3rd place match to look forward to. So for all of you Goomies fans out there, there hopefully will still be a little bit more Goomies left in this season.
Oh, and speaking of something I rescinded to mention here as heading to this first match. Now that the match is ended, it doesn't matter anymore. You know this, DRF, and some of you at home know as well. I am a Goomies enjoyer through and through. I've loved this type for casting them for the first time like a long time ago, and I wanted so badly to see that reverse sweep for them to make that victory so much sweeter, but it was so disappointing to see Grizztaco win against them here. But man, oh man, I was holding out for so much for the Goomies to pop off.
Okay, with that said, do you own the Goomies booty shorts?
No, because I'm a broke working man.
You are not a true Goomies fan. Oh,
what am I supposed to
do? We need to see if somebody can get you a pair of Goomies booty shorts. I don't think you can be a true Goomies fan until you own a pair. I for one do not own one. I do not intend to own one. Nothing against the Goomies. Entirely against the booty shorts. they just would not work well on me.
Oh, what do you mean? You're a big fan of all the teams under your own organization here. You gotta represent them all, no matter what the outcome is.
Oh man, I will say there are teams that have approached me with various team apparel. I have taken a couple of them up on it. Notably local teams down here in Southern California. So shout out to Cal Poly and UCSD who are I believe the only 2 teams that I actually own merch for. But nonetheless, that's what makes the Goomies a fan favorite. Especially with the successful campaign that they have with with the booty shorts for charity and all that stuff. So Their season ultimately, or their run for a championship, I should say, does end here. We're going to proceed through this play all 9, but they do have that bronze medal match. They'll play the loser of that RIT Orange Koi's Long Beach Black set. Meanwhile, Grizztaco advancing to the final. They're definitely going to be keeping a close eye on that set, which will be happening Sunday evening. So, like we said, it's 2 teams that have been playing hot all season long. I mean, RIT has probably had the toughest group, in my opinion, in Division 4. So I think that, while their season hasn't been perfect, they've been playing at an elite level within the division. And I think that they're going to be able to take the fight to Long Beach Black, who has had the perfect season, but has been a little bit more under the radar. I don't think we've actually quite gotten a whole lot of opportunities to look at Long Beach Black. So it's going to be a really fun matchup. That is currently not on the stream schedule, but we're gonna always do everything that we can to make sure we get as many matches on stream as possible. So not on the schedule at this moment, but things can always change.
Yeah, I mean, I was literally about to say things can always change on that, and it's always a good thing to see as many matches here in the bracket series, especially at this point and here at the CCA, because you just get so many different perspectives. You get to see the journeys at the end here with how these teams play out, and I just always would like to see all the tournaments, all the matches get streamed here at the end of the tournament. But no, man, this group and bracket in particular is a scary one to be, because no matter what the outcome is, you're gonna be fighting against another scary team here if you win or lose. Not knowing the outcome of today's match against Goomies and Grizztaco, heading into this game, knowing exactly what's on the other side, and just the Titans that's on the other side fighting it out, you're gonna be scared regardless, no matter what the outcome was today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I said earlier, Doug, is that these 4 teams had already established themselves as being in a league of their own within Division 4, and Grizztaco just raised it up a notch, as they continue to do here in our friendly game 7. They've been dominant through this first minute and a half, working through these penalty points. They are in position to try to knock this one out, especially after finding a 3-down situation here. Bubbles going to go down and complete the wipeout. So this one, Grizztaco should be able to convert this into a win, barring a last-second special push from the Goomies.
Yeah, Goomies here trying to throw whatever they can to potentially just think about contesting that zone there, but no, I think their team wipe there was a little too late for any reasonable flip to happen there, since it was around the 20-point mark, and 20-point mark with wipeouts tend to usually be a checkmate scenario there. I mean, Grizztaco showed here at this game, as we were talking about this set and how well they made throughout their entire run, just shows exactly why they made it this far and why they're making this ticket to finals without much issue tonight. Goomies, even though the short-lead team, I mentioned I love seeing them, I love watching them play, and it's no surprise that they made it this far, but to do what they did against the Goomies, that's saying something at the very least.
Yeah, it certainly is, because I think we definitely all had some high expectations coming into this matchup. And I think Grizztaco just shattered it. I mean, again, the Goomies played well. I just think that Grizztaco has been on a whole nother level. So it's been really fascinating to watch, and I think that that Grizztaco has just been playing very comfortably all season long. So I'm gonna be interested to see, again, what's gonna be the mindset heading into that finals match, because while the set here ultimately ended up being a comfortable 5-0, you can't settle, and I think Grizztaco knows that, because like you said, Dark, no matter who you get on the other side of that other semifinal, it's going to be a scary opponent. I mean, Long Beach Black, the numbers speak for themselves for Long Beach. They are 25-0 on the season. They have not lost a game. And RIT Orange Koi's had, again, what I thought was probably the toughest group. And they were able to take the fight to UConn, who was probably one of the favorites in the division when the season started, ultimately not making it, I believe settling for third place in the group. Alongside, I'm totally blanking on who was the second team in their group. I believe it was. I'll get it for you in a sec. KSU Wild Sharks and SCAD. So it was actually a couple of different teams there. So like KSU Wild Sharks and SCAD also had really strong seasons in this one. SCAD, I'm actually taking RIT Orange Kois to a decisive game 7. So it's been just a crazy season for RIT Orange Kois. So they've been pushed to the limit. Long Beach Black, this edition of Long Beach Black has not had that opportunity to really be pushed to the brink of, a game 7. They don't know anything beyond a game 5 right now.
I mean, yeah, honestly, part of the equation too is do you have the experience playing on these longer, more drawn out sets? Like best of 9 definitely tests your stamina and your skill, which is why I love them so much here. Not just here CCA, but with Ludi and all the other tournaments. If that it's applicable in anyways. Weekly and bi-weekly stuff don't really tend to run those because of how often they run. But no, that sort of stamina is, believe it or not, part of the skill of playing this game. It could be just the fact that maybe the Goomies a little bit of a lackluster performance today here was just the fact that like end of season they might have gotten a bit too tired. Maybe the other way is true for Grizztaco. Maybe they got a bit too tired and are just wanting to try and end this quick and now, and so they just absolutely locked in. There's different reasonings and different just things that happen for either team to make different results happen, which is why I always find the game so fluid, so interesting to watch here. And already a fluid game this has been, as both teams just duke it out here in mid.
Jay on the roller, gonna be whiffing that first power clamp throw. Rare trying to see if they could pick off Rainey, who is hoping to pick up that power clamp but unable to do so there. Hudsey's now going to follow up with a power clamp in a row. They're going to finally score this one. So both teams definitely playing with a little bit of exhaust. I think, as we could tell at this point, we've seen an evolution of the comps here. They're definitely pulling out a couple more interesting picks. Like, for example, Yeet on the Charger is certainly a choice that they have made for game number 8. Of course, none of this actually matters. So you can tell that both teams are just finding an opportunity to let loose now.
Just a little peekaboo we were watching there between the two backlines of both teams. It was so fun. It's just so fun to watch. But man, it's moments like these where like the after matches, which you don't really see too much here. Both teams deliberately choosing to play it out. By the way, if one team or the other didn't want to play it out, we would have been here either way. So this is both teams agreeing to play this out and wanting to just let loose at the end here to see exactly just what funny moments we can get from either side. And even though it's a bit of a let loose, Grizztaco is just continuing to show just their prowess over Goomies, just keeping this momentum going in their favor. Potentially even knocking it out here if they can actually get things lined up perfectly. And yeah, just as I say that, the power climb coming in out of nowhere gets that dunk here and ending this game 8 very fast.
Yeah, that was definitely a very quick 100-0 knockout. Once Grizztaco was able to find the basket. So they're going to go ahead and prepare themselves for a clean 9-0 sweep on this one. If they can just find a victory in this last game. Goomies hoping to get a little bit of momentum back to prepare themselves for that bronze medal match.
Yeah, and that's a good point you mentioned too here. This could very well just be Goomies like trying different things out to see exactly how they want to play next week for their bronze match. Because even though they're out of the running for finals and first place here, we still have to decide who's third and who's fourth, which is they're going to be playing here in next weekend. So this could just be us getting a little bit of a look at exactly what the kind of modes Goomies wants to bring out, see exactly what they're cooking up in the kitchen before finally setting on that one team comp that they're wanting to go for finals with.
Yeah, it certainly could be the case. I think it's definitely a little bit more on the, let's just let loose kind of end. Let's just have some fun. Let's relax. it was definitely a little bit of a rough set. So they'll be fine heading into next week's or I guess technically 2 weeks bronze medal match. So let's just enjoy the moment, to take it in stride. So both teams will be fine. So it's an opportunity to have fun now.
Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to say it's very hard to keep coming up with more conversational topics that we haven't covered already, because without just repeating ourselves over and over again. But I will like to say that it's so fun and so interesting to see how these teams have evolved over the years that I've been casting. And it's always such a pleasure to see familiar faces. It's always such a pleasure to see new faces. It's always such a pleasure to see teams that may have not have gotten the chance to actually be on top after maybe a rotation or two of semesters with students coming in to play for the games. They can really bring out the team and fully launch them forward. That surprises most people, because I would be completely honest, I haven't heard of Grizztaco before today, even though they've allegedly been a team stand-in for the majority of the CCA, and it looks like we are missing a member of the Goomies. That might have been a DC, I am not sure, but interesting. But I guess not choosing to replay this because of obvious reasons, as we see Yeet just fly off, and I'm guessing they're just deciding to just play it out as a 3v3.
That might be the case. I think we are going to see a 3v3 here. So, I don't think the fourth player from Grizztaco jumped in. I think they actually just jumped off the map instead. Okay, no, I think all the players are in action here. So the Goomies are going to go ahead and ride this one out. No, actually, no, there's only 3 players. Oh, well, that's because the roller's not alive at the moment. So anyways, Grizztaco gonna go ahead and get the wipe out here. They should clear this first checkpoint with relative ease, and Yeet on the Carbon, which is another great pick for them, honestly. With the way they play duels, I think Carbon's actually a pretty natural fit for them. They're gonna be able to just roll around and hold down the plat.
And platform control is going to be key here, especially as we see the killer whale coming in, just instantly popping that player hiding out under their right tent. And with a wipe out here, second checkpoint out, Grizztaco, as we've seen before, just looking to just cruise this tower control back down to the very end. Goomies using whatever tools they can to try and push him out of the tower, but with the well-placed bubbler at the end there, and the Sploosh-O-Matic coming in the nick of time, saving the tower before it can get knocked out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Goomies are doing a pretty solid job of stalling this one out, all things considered. But it's definitely a little bit risky for them at this point to do just about anything aggressive. But nonetheless, they got the stop. They actually are getting points on the board now. So they're actually kind of putting together, a potential push here. They shouldn't be able to get anywhere, but they actually are, which is quite impressive.
Yeah, I mean, a 3v4 scenario is never good no matter who you're playing or what the exact situation is going to be going on here, but Goomies are actually starting to pull things off here as they get another pick here. But an important thing to note here in the 3v4 is that trades are just so much worse here, because you're still down a player regardless of what the current situation of the game is, and you really, to go at least even as a player getting a pick, you need to get an additional pick to really make it an advantage state here. And with 2 players down for Goomies once again, Grizztaco, there's just too many players on their side for Goomies to actually get a big push going on their side. They did bring it out 64, which is good, but nothing like what Grizztaco has managed to do, and for good reason.
I think this is weirdly like the least dominant game that we've seen out of Grizztaco. Like, yes, they're kind of, it's a less serious game. But like the Goomies are playing fantastic despite the 3v4 situation. So like this is not a game that they're supposed to win. Let's be clear about that. But I mean, they're within striking distance, all things considered. So they're gonna go ahead and continue to ride this tower. Rare should get a little bit of surprise here from Hudsies. and they're somehow staying alive. Like I don't quite understand like how they're actually doing this at the moment. And some how that what they got 3.
I'm gonna go on the limb here and just say I'm assuming everyone at this point from both sides are just checked out for this final game here. When there's this disconnect, it's most likely gonna go to Grizztaco from the moment we saw there was gonna be a 3v4 anyway. So I'm pretty sure just both teams are just checked out, playing it out just to play it out, and just so they can get to the rest of their night here. Has 1 minute remaining. Goomies surprisingly at a player advantage here in mid.
I will say I do feel like that some teams do play some of their best Splatoon when they are forced to play with a DC. Now, of course, these two, Goomies was not forced to play with 3 players in this one. They had the DC at the start and just opted to, let's play it out because this game doesn't actually count. But I don't know. I don't know if you feel the same way, Dark, but like I always feel like that whenever you get a DC and you end up playing it out, sometimes you just see some just something inside you sparks, and like you just have to like make up for the number situation, and just something instinctual happens that allows you to play at the next level.
Like, what is this going on here? We just see the Zipcaster go onto tower here to try and push him off here, but just too much pressure is going on. Groomies finally do unfortunately go down here, and the madness of all that, they should not have been able to get away with it as much as they did, but, not to say anything about the skill level from either team, though, but Grizztaco really let them give away a few more points than what probably should have been allowed to happen here. Especially getting so close to knocking out with 97 points remaining and not being able to knock it out. That's a little bit of a stinker.
Well, nonetheless, that puts a wrap on this play all 9. This goes down in the record books as a 5-0 victory for BSU Grizztaco, who is going to be advancing to the Division 4 finals, where they will play the winner of RIT Orange Kois versus Long Beach Black. So they're going to be looking out for that matchup Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And of course, Goomies bronze medal match waiting for them as well. So that's going to be one that they'll play the loser of that matchup. So they'll again be keeping an eye out on that too. So with all that said, we do lose our reigning Division 3 circuit champions from the fall semester in the Goomies. They have had a fantastic academic year. They'll look to add a bronze medal to their trophy closet for this year. But it's going to be BSU Grizztaco, who we did not get to see a whole lot of in the fall semester. They only played in qualifier 3, finished in the top 8. So we haven't seen the full potential of Grizztaco, but I think we're really getting an opportunity to see it now.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a good thing to see teams that may have not have, due to circumstance, may not have been able to actively participate in previous seasons and previous circuits and whatnot. So seeing Grizztaco come out here and really show that, hey, this is what we are about all of this entire time. Watch out next season for us, by the way. But it's such a good thing to see here. But yes, as we are wrapping up 5-0 BSU Grizztaco, big congratulations for doing what you did today, Goomies. I, being one of your many, many adoring fans, I am disappointed at the outcome, but I will still be rooting for you nonetheless for your next upcoming game here. But what a extraordinary match nonetheless. Congratulations for making it this far at the very least, regardless of what the outcome was. And I believe we're now going to wrap things up here, DRF.
Yes, so this is the second semifinals matchup in the books for Season 6 of the CCA League. There is still another 14 semifinal matches that need to get played. We will be covering probably about half of those this weekend on various streaming channels here on the CCA channel and over on IPL on their Sunday night primetime slot. So Dark, thank you so much for joining me. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Go ahead and plug yourself real quick.
Most definitely. It's always a pleasure to be here. You can find me at SPF Dark at Blue Sky, as well as SPF underscore Dark on most social media websites. But you most likely will hear my voice time and time and time again among the numerous organizations, either here at IPL, CCA, DAP Productions, Splatoon Journey. I am all over the place. I'm always going to be casting something on a relatively weekly basis, one way or another. But DRF, where can they find you?
You can go and find me on Twitter, DRF underscore Splatoon, Blue Sky, DRF dash Splatoon, Twitch, right, DRF. But per usual, you can find me right here on the CCA channel, covering all things Collegiate Splatoon. Thank you all so much for joining us. Congratulations to BSU Grizztaco for punching their ticket to the Division 4 Finals. We will see you, I believe, Saturday for the next set of matches. It is going to be a good one. VCU versus Death Roll in Division 1. That is going to be one you won't want to miss. So, see you then, and have a wonderful rest of your evening.